Imagine that there's a name, a very old name. So old, it's been around longer than cities, kings, or countries. It's not just any name. It's the name of the Creator, the one who made everything. The sky, the stars, the oceans, you. This name used to be spoken with love, with awe, and sometimes with fear. People knew how powerful it was. They knew it was different from every other name. They didn't say it by accident. They didn't shout it or use it carelessly. It was special. It was holy. But over time, people stopped saying this name. Some said it was too holy to speak. Others said it might bring judgment if spoken the wrong way. Slowly, the name disappeared from everyday life. In many places, it was replaced by a title, words like Lord or God. And just like that, the real name of the Creator faded from memory. And what's inside that name is more than just sounds or letters. It holds a secret. The name is made of 4 Hebrew letters, Yod, Heh, Vav, and Heh. In English, people often say Yahweh when they read it. A long time ago, Hebrew letters were also pictures. They were drawn in a way that showed meaning, like symbols. Each one told a little story. The first letter, Yod, looked like an arm or hand. It meant hand or work. The second, looked like a person standing with arms up. It meant look or behold. The third, Vav, was a picture of a nail or hook. It meant nail or connect. Then comes He again, behold, once more. Together they form hand, behold, nail, behold. That sounds like a message, doesn't it? This ancient name, used long before Jesus was born, tells a story. It points to someone whose hands would be nailed, someone we should behold or look at with wonder. It points to the cross, long before people understood what would happen on that hill in Jerusalem. This message was already there, hidden inside God's name. Maybe it's because someone wanted it that way. Maybe the enemy of truth didn't want people to see what the name revealed. Maybe fear and confusion helped cover it up. For many years, even religious leaders stopped saying the name out loud. When they read the Bible, they would say Adonai, which means Lord, instead of saying the real name. And when the Bible was translated into other languages, the name Yahweh was often replaced with the word Lord in big capital letters. It stayed in the old scrolls, in ancient ruins, in pieces of pottery buried underground. And as time went on, people began finding it again. Archaeologists, people who dig up the past, discovered old writings from thousands of years ago. Some of them had Yahweh's name written on them. Some were prayers. Some were blessings. Some even came from enemies of Israel who still knew the name of their God. Today, more and more people are waking up to this truth. They're reading the old Hebrew texts. They're learning the meaning of the letters. They're seeing the hidden message for the first time. And when they do, something inside them changes. Because once you know the name, once you understand a message, it sticks with you. This name shows who God really is, not just powerful, not just eternal, but personal. A loving Father who planned everything from the beginning, who knew that one day he would send someone to save us, someone whose hands would be nailed, someone we should all behold. That's the message in his name. Remember to join our community by subscribing to this channel. Long before anyone wrote books or built temples, there was a voice, strong, eternal, and alive. That voice spoke to a man named Moses through a burning bush that didn't burn up. And from that fire, something powerful was revealed. This wasn't just a moment in history. It was the beginning of something sacred. When Moses stood there, barefoot and trembling, he didn't ask for riches or signs. He asked one thing, "What is your name?" Not just because he wanted to know how to speak to God, but because names carry identity. They tell you who someone truly is. And God answered with words no one had ever heard before. I am who I am. Not I was. Not I will be. Simply, I am. This wasn't just a name. It was a statement, a truth about God's nature. He was telling Moses, I don't come from anything. I don't need anything. I exist because I exist. I always exist. In just a few words, God revealed that he's not limited by time. He doesn't grow old. He doesn't change. He doesn't move forward or backward like we do. He's always here, fully present, all the time, everywhere. That's something no other God, king, or power could claim. The phrase, I am, in Hebrew is related to the name Yahweh. It shows us that his name isn't just a title. It's a full description of his being. It tells us that God doesn't just have life, he is life. He's not just a part of the world. He holds the world together. That's why the name Yahweh is so special. It's not something people made up. It came directly from God. It carries his essence, his breath, his foreverness. This is why the Hebrew people treated the name with such deep respect. Not out of fear like you'd fear a monster, but out of honor like standing in the presence of someone so great, you can't even find the right words. In the book of John, Jesus didn't just say he was the Messiah. He said things like, I am the light of the world. I am the good shepherd. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And once he said plainly, before Abraham was born, I am. When he said that, people were shocked. Some even tried to kill him for it, because they knew what he meant. In that moment, Jesus was showing the world that he and the Father were connected, not just in mission, but in identity. When you say the name Yahweh, you're not just calling out to the sky. You're speaking to the one who has always been, who sees you, who knows you, and who wants you to know him in return. This is the heart of revelation. God doesn't hide who he is from those who seek him. He reveals himself to those who are willing to look. And it all begins with the name. In the country we now call Jordan, back in 1868, something incredible was uncovered, a large stone with writing on it. This was the Mesha stele, also called the Moabite stone. It was written by a king who didn't follow the God of Israel. In fact, he fought against God's people. But even this enemy king mentioned Yahweh by name. He bragged that he had taken holy objects from Yahweh's temple and shown them to his own god, Chemosh. A ruler who wanted to destroy Israel still confirmed that they worshipped Yahweh, not a made-up god, not a borrowed name, but the true one, written in stone nearly 3,000 years ago. That's not the only discovery. In 1979, near Jerusalem, a group of archaeologists found something small but powerful. Inside an old tomb were two tiny silver scrolls. They had writing scratched into them so carefully, so tightly, that you'd need a magnifying glass to see all the details. These scrolls were older than the Dead Sea Scrolls, older than most anything else we've found with Bible text. They held a blessing straight from the book of Numbers. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. That prayer, written centuries before Jesus, used the exact name the Bible always claimed. And because the scrolls were found in a grave, it shows something else. The people believed Yahweh's name had the power to protect, even after death. Next came the Lachish letters, messages written during wartime, found on broken pottery. These were written by soldiers just before Babylon invaded Jerusalem. They're short notes, sent quickly, filled with worry and fear. One message ends with a cry for hope. May Yahweh let my Lord hear good news today. Even in danger, even on the edge of disaster, these men called out to Yahweh, not just as a tradition, but as someone real. Over time, more proof kept surfacing. In a place called Cunalidage Rud, in the middle of the desert, people discovered drawings and writings that mentioned Yahweh, written beside symbols, blessings, and even warnings. These weren't just religious texts. They were everyday records, scratched into walls and jars by people who lived and worked and believed. Even in these casual places, the name Yahweh was everywhere. Other finds, like the Churbet Elcom inscription and later the Dead Sea Scrolls, added more and more evidence. These weren't just random names or myths. These were real people speaking to a real God, calling him by his real name. And all of it, every scroll, every stone, every piece of pottery, matches what the Bible has been saying from the beginning. That God gave his name to his people, and they used it in prayer, in praise, and in pain. They remind us that faith isn't built on fairy tales. It's built on a solid foundation. The name of God didn't appear suddenly or get invented over time. It was known, trusted, and written down again and again across hundreds of years. People believed in Yahweh not just because of tradition, but because they experienced his power and presence. Knowing God's true name isn't just about history or language. It leads to something much more serious, a choice that affects your spirit, your future, and your loyalty. In the final pages of the Bible, in the book of Revelation, we're shown a picture of the future. It speaks of a time when the world will face two marks, one from God and one from a dark power. The mark of God is placed on the foreheads of those who belong to Him. Not a barcode, not a tattoo, but a seal, a spiritual sign of ownership and protection. It says, this person belongs to Yahweh. Then there's the other mark, the one connected to the beast, the number 666, a symbol of rebellion and false worship. This mark represents people who choose another path, one that stands against truth and against God's name. At first, this may sound like a mystery, but it's not about secret codes or scary symbols. It's about allegiance. It's about where you place your trust and whose name you carry in your heart. You see, in ancient times, a person's name meant everything. It showed character, identity, and even purpose. When God gave us His name, He wasn't just handing us a label. He was offering a relationship, a way to know Him, speak to Him, and walk with Him. But over time, many forgot that, or ignored it, or traded it for man-made systems that seemed safer, easier, or more popular. In Revelation 14, a powerful scene appears. A great group of people stands with the Messiah, and on their foreheads is written His name and the name of His Father. They are marked as His, protected, chosen, recognized in heaven. Are you enjoying the story? Support our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Spiritual decisions are not always loud. Sometimes they're quiet. A heart that says yes to truth. A soul that decides, once and for all, who it belongs to. That's why learning Yahweh's name matters. Not just because it's ancient, but because it calls something out of you. It reminds you that you are more than flesh and blood. You're created for connection, and your spirit is meant to be marked, not by fear, but by truth. God's name isn't just letters. It's a promise, a reminder that He sees you, knows you, wants you close. And when His name is written on you, spiritually or one day, literally, it means something. It means you've chosen life over lies, light over shadow, the eternal over the temporary. It's not just about knowledge. It's about loyalty, not brand names, not family names, but the name that made the heavens, the name that walked with Moses, the name that was nailed into history through the hands of the Savior. Yahweh. The time is coming when this name will be known again, not just in books or ruins, but in hearts, in homes, in the voices of people who once forgot, but now remember. And when the line is drawn between truth and deception, your spirit will already know where it stands. In the world of Jewish mysticism, there's an ancient symbol called the Tree of Life. It's not made of bark or branches. It's a map of spiritual reality. This tree shows how divine energy moves from the highest, most hidden realm down into the world we live in. The Tree of Life has 10 glowing centers of power. Each one is called a sapphira, and each one reflects a part of the Creator, like love, wisdom, strength, beauty, and more. Together, they form a pathway from the unknown to the known, from mystery to presence. The name YHWH is linked to this tree. Each letter follows the flow of this divine path. It shows how pure, perfect energy travels from the top of the tree to the bottom, from the invisible source of everything to the visible world around us. The first letter, Yod, is the smallest, but it holds the seed of everything. It stands for the spark of creation, the first point of divine will. Next is Ha, which opens that spark. It represents expansion, light, and the breath that gives form to what was only potential. Then comes Vav, a line that connects. It acts like a bridge between the higher and lower worlds. It's the link that lets divine power flow into the physical. The final letter, another Ha, repeats the idea of breath and revelation. But now it lands. It touches the world. It brings the spiritual into everyday life. These 4 letters create a movement, not a circle, but a stream, a flow of life force from the Creator into creation. It's not just a name. It's a living system, a design written into the world itself. That flow is found inside every person. Breath is the bridge between body and soul. It's the one thing humans do from birth to death without effort. And hidden inside each breath is something deeply sacred. Some ancient thinkers noticed that the sound of breathing mimics the name YHWH. When a person inhales, it makes a soft YH sound. When they exhale, it sounds like WH. Breathing becomes prayer. Without words, without thought, just life itself, moving in and out, calling the name of the divine with every rise and fall of the chest. Even newborn babies who can't speak still breathe. And in that breath is the ancient name. The same name was spoken from the burning bush to Moses. The same name whispered by prophets. The same name hidden in the wind, the trees, the sea. This idea changes how people understand connection. It means the Creator is not far away or hard to reach. He is as close as the next breath. No temples, no rituals, no speeches needed. Just breathing becomes sacred. The name YHWH becomes a heartbeat of the universe. A pulse moving through every creature, every breeze, every quiet moment. In the quiet, it speaks. In motion, it flows. And in stillness, it fills. The tree of life, the sacred letters, the hidden breath, these are not just symbols or stories. They're blueprints, codes, ways of remembering that something holy lives inside the ordinary, that every breath carries purpose, that each moment is touched by eternity. To know the name is not just to say it, it's to feel in your lungs, to carry it in your silence, to recognize that life itself is a gift wrapped in that name. There are names we hear and forget. There are names that last for years, passed down through generations. And then there is one name, ancient, unshakable, always present, that flows through time like a river that never dries up. That name is not made of stone or ink. It wasn't created by people, and it doesn't belong to one group or one culture. It is rooted in eternity. Yahweh, the name of the one who existed before the stars, before the oceans, before the breath of any living soul. This name didn't disappear. It was never truly lost. Even when spoken less often, even when hidden behind translations, it never stopped moving. It stayed alive in text, in thought, in breath. It guided prophets. It filled the songs of ancient worshipers. It echoed in the silent prayers of those who had nothing else. It moved through history quietly, like a soft wind brushing across the face of the world. People are waking up to what they forgot, not learning something new, but remembering something deep, something their spirit always knew, even if their mind didn't yet understand. The name doesn't need to be shouted. It doesn't demand attention. It invites. It whispers. It fills every space without forcing its way in. It reminds us that the greatest truths don't come through noise, but through awareness. Are you enjoying this story? Click the Super Thanks button and, if you can, support it with a contribution. Your support allows us to keep content like this alive and available for free to you and everyone who loves good stories. Everything we explored, the spiritual path of the tree of life, the sacred sound of every breath, the history written in ruins and scrolls, all of it points to the same truth. The Creator has never been far away. His name is not just a word. It is life flowing through creation. It is energy moving through the unseen. It is presence here and now. In a world full of names that divide, that fade, that are forgotten, this name remains. It is not bound to a building. It is not trapped in a book. It is carried in the body. It is spoken without speech. It is heard in the quiet. And it calls people not to fear, but to remember. Not to run, but to rest. To realize that they were never alone. That they have always been known. That something holy is near enough to be felt in every inhale and exhale. That is the power of YHWH. A name that holds the very rhythm of life. A name that draws a line, not to separate, but to awaken. A name that was never gone, only waiting to be known again. So wherever you go from here, let this remain with you. Not just as knowledge, but as something deeper. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to this channel. Until the next video.